And that was my GoPro falling on the mic jack and breaking it. So I do apologize. Some of the audio is kind of messed up, but I will be doing voiceover for some of this video.
What's up, everybody? It is Bryce, your favorite AMPIA again, and I am at the airport working on the Bonanza once and again, and we are getting this strut put back in it. So yes, I'm starting this video at the end, and then I'm going to go back to the middle, and you're never going to see the beginning. But we replaced the O-rings in the bottom of it. We had to replace the bottom part of the strut because it was worn out, and we put a new servicing valve in it. We just got it put back in and all serviced up. So stick around and I'll kind of show you what that looks like, probably do some voiceover and talk about some things because we were kind of just working the whole time. Before I get too far into the video, I wanted to ask you, join the Discord, leave me a like, leave me a comment, subscribe, all that is really helping. We're almost at the point where we can monetize. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers and I've gotten pretty close on watch hours. So if you are subscribed, go to like one of my playlists, press play on the playlist, mute it, leave it in the background running for a little while so I can get the watch hours.
So for my topic for this video, I wanted to talk about aircraft owners doing their own maintenance. And you can see me obviously putting the strut in the aircraft, and the owner of this Bonanza is with me and certainly assisting, which violates no regulations, but I wanted to give you a little bit more information on that. So the FAA says that the owner of the aircraft who holds a private pilot certificate can perform preventative maintenance. So what does that usually mean? Well, it means if you are an aircraft owner, you can replace your own tires, you can replace your own brake linings, you can do your own oil changes, you can even change your spark plugs and your air filters, and even get away with some light painting and finishing because that is considered refinishing. However, when it comes to actually performing maintenance, like what we're doing in this video with replacing the strut, the pilot needs to be supervised. And technically, anyone working on the aircraft without an AMP needs to be supervised. So where you'll find yourself getting in a situation as an owner trying to work on your own airplane is actually kind of dependent on the mechanic. I do know people who will say, man, just, send me some photos of it as you're going, kind of show me your progress with what you're working on and how things are going. And then when you get it all put back together, I will come out there and sign it off. Now, if that's what your mechanic is doing and is comfortable with doing, that's kind of on him. Me, I'm not really comfortable doing that for owners. Not that I don't trust them, that's not it at all. It's just I will let owners disassemble the aircraft because disassembly is not maintenance. And I'll give you an example of that. If the owner wants to help me doing an annual inspection, which sometimes they do because they want to learn more about their aircraft, or sometimes they do because they'd like to save a little bit of money. But if the owner wants to help me with the annual, I will let them pull out the seats and the carpet and the floor panels and take all of the panels off the wings and all of the things that I don't want to do before I even get there. I might even also have them clean it, which I probably haven't cleaned it anyways because it has to be clean for an inspection. So I'll let them do that. And then when I show up to actually work on the airplane, that saves me quite a lot of time and labor in disassembling things, and I can do the inspection really quickly. But say, for example, this strut that we're putting back in, I was here to disassemble it and rebuild the O-rings. The reason you're not seeing it on camera is because I was kind of wrapped up with getting it out and getting work done and didn't really have a chance to film, and I forgot my camera one of the days. However, now that we're putting it back together and I needed some content for the Sunday upload, I figured I would get the camera set up as we put it all back together, because really all we did was replace the O-rings inside and the servicing valve up at the top. So it wasn't that big of a task. Now, this is not something I would let the owner do. If he wanted to take it out of the aircraft or get it ready, I would be okay with that. But just doing that maintenance by themselves without any sort of supervision from me is not something that I usually do. Like I said, there are mechanics out there that will let you do that if you're an owner or a pilot, and they don't mind, and that's kind of up to them. The FAA does give some guidance on it. The FAA does give some, I'll say, approval of what is allowed and what is not allowed. But for me, and for my own peace of mind, I like to be there for at least 80% of the process. I'll let the owner, take it all apart, but when it actually comes time to put it back together and replace parts and do all that. That's kind of something that I want to be there for. Which brings me to my next point. I've had owners walk up to me in the hangar before. We've been working on the aircraft, and this is somebody walking up to me cold and saying, "Hey, I just put a propeller on my aircraft. Could you come sign it off for me?" And I'm like, "Hi, it's nice to meet you too. My name is Bryce." And basically what they did is they took their propeller off and went and had their propeller overhauled, and they put their propeller back on because they didn't want to pay for labor or whatever it was. And I can't fault them there, but they didn't come talk to me first. So if you are a pilot and an owner of an aircraft and you wish to do your own maintenance, that is certainly okay, but you need to make sure that you're talking to the mechanic beforehand and not just assuming that they're going to sign something off for you. Which will bring me to another thought. I have had aircraft that I've worked on in the past at a different hangar when I was still employed as an A&P before I was kind of running my own side business. And the easiest way I can say this is you could tell that they were doing lots of maintenance on their aircraft unsupervised, which may or may not be a problem, but the issue in this instance was they were doing this maintenance on their aircraft, they were replacing parts, they were fixing things, and making no entries in the logbooks. And that's what really will get you hurt in the long run, because when an IA comes after a year or so, in between annuals, it's going to be a year. I say a year or so because some people like to do them every 13 months. They'll do their annual like August 1st, and then the next year they'll do it September 1st because the annual is good until the end of August. So they'll wait till the very end of August to bring it in, and then on that 13-month, they'll have it signed off at the beginning of the month, and kind of makes them feel like they're getting an extra month on the annual inspection, but that's here nor there. My point is, when the IA comes in and starts to perform your annual and is finding that parts have clearly been replaced and things have clearly been worked on, but there's no record entry for that, it kind of leaves an uneasy feeling for you in your stomach. And I've had airplanes that I've worked on that the pilot purchased recently. Like, they was not the pilot doing it. I knew it wasn't the pilot doing it, but it came time to do like sheet metal repairs or replacing certain things, and you'd find Cherry Max rivets in cowling mounts, or you'd find oversized rivets shot in flight controls, and you start going back in the records and there's nothing in there for the records. And that is really my biggest complaint and frustration with it. If you're going to do your own maintenance / preventative maintenance as a pilot, you need to be making sure that all of that stuff is getting recorded and getting put in your logbooks, because if you're not, it could find you in a situation where you're in violation of 43, which states that all maintenance, preventative maintenance, must be recorded in the aircraft logbooks.
Don't do that, Chris.
I'll try not to. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for the strut install. I realize it's not a very long or very detailed video. I am sorry for that, but I'm going to go show y'all the 172 real quick, kind of what's been happening to that, because the interior guy does have some of the interior in it, but it's not in all the way yet. As promised, I wanted to show you guys the 172. So here's what the interior guy has done. He went ahead and he's got the door panels finished up. He's got these front panels finished up. The headliner is just about in. All of that stuff is in. And I know it probably looks like there is a ways to go, and there is, but he's gonna paint this panel here. He's got to put the glare shield and that panel back on it, and then it's just the side panels, carpet, and seats, which shouldn't take him more than a couple days. So hopefully I'll be getting back on the 172 here pretty quick. I say that because I would like to very much get it finished and get the weight and balance done and get it ran. So this thing is airworthy again. But that's going to do it all for this video. As always, leave us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe, and be easy.